Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to ChriswithaC. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you very much for joining me today. Guys, on the table we have my Hobao SSTE. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, I did plan on giving this car a little bit of a refresh and start doing some further upgrades to it. Now, as you know, with that car in particular, I actually built this on a budget. So it was a budget build, it was a present from my wife. I used existing parts or maybe a few swaps and stuff like that. Now, when I was talking about the car the other day, I had in here an idea of what I want to do to it and how I want to progress it further to just kind of make it a little bit better. Now, going through Aliexpress, I noticed, obviously, they had this, the Hobbywing 8BL 150 G2 ESC. Now, it's relatively new ESC on the market. I wanted to give it a try. Essentially, it's like a Max 8 Gen 1. And, you know, loads of features on there. The only difference to this, as opposed to the Max 8 G2, is the fact that you can't upgrade the firmware on it. So plenty of features, 7.4 back. So obviously, you can obviously turn up your back up and down between 6 volt and 7.4. Loads of 6mm bullet connectors. Now, the other thing what I've done, guys, is, as you know, I was using a 2050 Armour BLX motor from one of the original Armours. Now that motor's been brilliant, but I wanted to kind of take it a little bit further again. Now, speaking to Rusty, he's currently in the middle of updating his Creighton 4S, and he was looking for a smaller motor because basically the motor he had in his vehicle was a little bit too quick for what his application needed to be. So he had there this rocket, Surpass Rocket Supersonic V2. It's a 4282 2250 kV motor, quite a beast of a motor really. And I want to try and see, obviously, if this will work in there. I might need to gear down a little bit, but in this video what I'm going to do is obviously solder the bullet connectors on the ESC, get that installed in the vehicle, install the motor, and just talk about what we've done. I'll give you a quick run through with the ESC and I'll give you a bit of a demonstration of what comes in the packet and obviously show you the motor. Now, it's a bit of a beast, this motor, so I am a little bit cautious on how I'm going to gear this, but a little bit of thinking up here, a little bbit of tuning on the car, we should be all right. The other thing I've done with the vehicle in the meantime, I've actually fitted some official Hobao 6mm hub extenders on there as well. Now, I was running custom RC upgrades, but the only thing I felt is they needed a bit of shimming. They were because of the extra length, 10mm each side. What was happening is the car was kind of leaning a little bit too much. I had a little bit too much play in the wheels. So I've got a friend of mine actually hooked me up with these Hobao hub extenders, and I've got to say, it does seem to make a difference on the wobble on the wheel. So let's talk in now. What I'll do, I'll dive down, show you what's in the packaging, and we'll go from there. See you in a sec. Come on then. Right, okay guys, so as you can see, I have actually started stripping out the SSTE. We've removed the motor and obviously the ESC. In the process, I've actually upgraded the receiver to a SVC or AVC, as people may know it. Basically, a receiver that obviously helped me out with controlling the vehicle, and also changed over the servo to one of these DS3230 Pro servos. Now, I was running the 35 kilogram version in the vehicle, but to be honest with you, quite honest, I didn't really need that much torque. I had this knocking about, so I'm actually going to repurpose that into the MTX. The 35 kilogram. Now, what I am going to be installing today is the 8BL 150 G2, as you can see, and also the Rocket 4282 2250 kV motor. So yeah, the car's all stripped out, all clean, basically ready to accept the motor and the ESC. We have got to clean off the plate here, obviously, where we're going to be installing the ESC and the switch, but that's something I'm going to do in a second. So let's quickly have a look in the box of each one and we'll go from there. Right guys, so as you can see, quick run 8BL 150 G2. It's a new ESC on the market. When I say new, relatively new. 150 amp ESC, suitable for, as you can see, for 1.8 Sport. Essentially, it is a Max 8 Gen 1, but obviously they've updated a few things on there. I've picked this up off Aliexpress, as I mentioned. It was quite a bargain price, so I thought it was a great time to basically refresh the vehicle. I will put a link in the description to where you can pick one of these up. I'm going to quickly unbox it and show you what's inside. So this is what you get in the packaging, guys. Obviously, you've got your user manual, obviously, to give you all the specs of it. And this will allow this ESC 4S to 6S and all the settings, all your punch settings and everything else are in there. It does come with this little sheet for your program card, a typical LCD program card. But there, some Hobbywing stickers, some 3M tape, a little mounting plate for your ESC, some cable ties, and some screws. Nice that they've included that. And this is your ESC, guys. So this is the WP8BL150G2. As you can see, 6.5mm bullet connectors. It does obviously have a proprietary fan inside. I will need to check if this is like the Max 8 mind, obviously, where it's mounted to the heat stack, basically. With the Max 8, it was a little bit awkward, the way you installed it. But as you can see, they've pre-tinned your connectors there. I think I probably will be using this with one connector in particular, and it's nice that they've actually gone to, rather than a switch style, they've gone with a button style. So this will stop it being activated, turning on and off. I have found with the older ESCs that basically what was happening is if your cables moved in any sort of way, sometimes it'd switch car off and sometimes the switch would fail, but these buttons are a lot more reliable. But nice big capacitor pack, obviously, as you can see. Very, very much like reminds me of the Max 8 Gen 1. As you can see, all nice and clean, brand spanking new, waterproof, brushless. So what I'll do now is quickly pack this away a second, and I'll show you the motor we're going to be installing. Guys, so this is obviously the Surpass Supersonic V2 motor, the 4282, as you can see, and it's a 2250, so is it a 2150? It might be 2150 actually, 2150 kV, but the size of the can is absolutely massive, really, really big. It's, as I mentioned, isn't brand spanking new, but as you can see, it's in really, really good condition. 6.5mm bullet connectors all pre-installed. I'll get the original motor a second. We'll compare the size of the cans now. Right, okay guys, so there's the BLX motor I was using in the vehicle. Obviously that's going off to my friend Andrew. As you can see, the size of the can is a lot bigger. So this extra bit on the end, for anyone who doesn't understand, this will actually give me a lot more low-end torque, as well as more KVs than what the BLX motor will. So it's going to be quite an upgrade in the sense of obviously what I'm going to be using it for, which is a 4 and 6S. I was only running this motor on 4S, and I'll be fair, mind, I will say this motor has been absolutely rock solid. I haven't had any issues with it, but it worked very, very well. And this is why Andrew's decided to pop this into one of his vehicles. But yeah, as you can see, quite a nice design on these rocket motors. I've got one of these fitted in my Typhon, and it's been absolutely spot on so far. Right guys, so just to solder my EC5 on, as you can see, nothing special equipment wise. I was taught a little trick, I'll show you on the channel if you want to, about putting these bullet connectors in. Quite simply, what you use is the female and push it in, and then you use a pair of pipe pliers just to gently ease in the plug. Works really, really well for me. Just turned it on the EC and everything is working great. Right, okay, so let's move on with the build. Right, okay guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to remove the remnants of the tape I had in there. Alright, if you ever get stuck on doing this, get yourself an air dryer. Just warm it all up and obviously get everything sticky. Then get yourself some rubbing alcohol or some sort of cleaner, and you want to make sure the contact areas you're going to be putting it on are free from any debris, any oils, any stickiness, because obviously what we do want is obviously the new ESC to stick down properly to the plate, and obviously your on-off switch. So basically they stick down absolutely perfect. So yeah, just go ahead and do that now. okay, so all I'm doing now, guys, is basically just offering up the ESC to the car. I'm trying to get the biggest mounting point I can for, obviously, this is where the ESC is going to sit. So I want to try and get as much surface area for this ESC to sit down. And then thinking about which way the wires are going to come across. So obviously the motor wires will be coming over and then ducking down here. We can tie them to the center brace at the rear. And then my battery switch, or my on-off switch I should say, is going to go kind of around about there at the back of the vehicle. Just so I can get my hand inside the car, obviously bearing in mind which way the body goes. And then obviously just checking my battery connection, so I got plenty of room there as well. Obviously I can tuck that underneath. So I think there is probably going to be about right. Now, when I had it set up previously with the ESC over here, what I did do is zip tie this signal wire, obviously straight to the top here. I can't see any other way to channel it because obviously the spur gear is in the way. And then just thinking about obviously where the motor's going to go. So obviously the motor is then going to be sat kind of there, like so. And then obviously these wires will come across the top and straight into the ESC. Now what I can do is fold them back a little bit, obviously, and cable tie them in just so they look a bit neater. But yeah, it's a little bit of a process to get it right. But once we got it right, guys, it's going to be awesome. Now I will probably as well as be fitting a motor fan to the motor just to keep temperatures down because we are running on grass. But I think I'm going to go ahead like where I am now. I have cleaned it off, by the way, if anyone wants to know. I use 99.9% isopropyl clean alcohol just to clean off everything. And as I mentioned, little trick is use a hairdryer to take off any residue. If you do have any sticky on there, that will actually help get it off. So a little bit of heat just to get the stickiness away. Then clean off, rubbing alcohol, and you've got a nice clean surface again. So yeah, right, let's crack on again. Right, okay guys, so I've got it all mocked up, as you can see. So that's obviously all in there now. This wire is obviously going to go into the receiver box. The motor itself, I've decided on the cables to do this, and the reason being is because of the screws and the motor mount on this. The screws aren't actually that big, and I would need to bore out the actual motor mount. So I've decided to go with this. I'm going to Loctite those in place now. As you can see, the pinion gear is going to go right in. Now I have checked this clearance, so that's all right. But we're going to go with a 14 tooth pinion to start off, just to see how it feels. Because obviously this is a higher kV motor. But just putting that inside, as you can see, my gear mesh now is absolutely spot on. But I did wonder about clearance on the back of here, but that seems to be okay as well. Because of the way the receiver box is situated. I put some zip ties on there. It shouldn't foul at all with the body post, obviously with the cables. Which leaves basically the back of the car nice and clear, plenty of airflow, everything's working fine. So what I will need to do now is obviously Loctite all the screws in, make sure it's all in place. We can then put the motor screws back in, obviously the motor mount screws, put a bit of Loctite on those, and then install the fan, and we should be ready to rock and roll then. So it's not long to go here, guys. Right, okay, so as you can see, we've got the motor in there. I have installed one of my Surpass rocket fans. I'm just going to tidy up all this wiring here now. And then I'll take you through the calibration. I'm going to push all the connectors down, basically make it all neat. As you can see, I've got a 6S pack in it. This is just for testing purposes. And put the receiver back on and make it all look tidy a second. So I'm going to go from there, guys. Right, okay, so as you can all see now, all neat and tidy. I've done all my cabling, put everything away tidy here. The fan wire is actually going inside as well. Zip tidy all up. Everything's looking neat and tidy there. Right, what I'll now do is change the camera angle, guys, and I'll talk you through calibration. But yeah, so far so good. I'm really happy with the way it's coming out now, and this should give us loads more power. I've actually gone down on the gearing from a 17 to a 14 for now, only just to kind of work out, because I was having problems with this going up on the back wheels. This is a bigger motor, it is higher KV, so I want to kind of judge where the car's at, to be honest with you, before I go bonkers with it. Right, the other thing I'm going to need to do as well is also do some programming. I think I need to up the back on the ESC. I'll use my program card for that. I'll go from there. Right, okay guys, very easy to program your ESC. What you're going to need to do is obviously get your handset, and you need that on, obviously, as you can see. Press down the set button on the on, and then press the on button itself. Wait for the beeps. So that's your neutral. Don't touch anything. Full accelerate, and then full brake. And as you can see, it's now recognise the inputs, guys. So what I'm going to need to do now is actually saying I need to flip around the, as you see, I press accelerate and it's shooting backwards. So on my handset, I can change all that around, the motor rotation. But yeah, so far, everything's working. You can see, everything's all plugged in. I've got AVC now as well. I need to make sure that's all set up and calibrated properly. I'm really happy. Right, okay guys, so I've got the program sheet here, as you can see. It gives me how it's all set up out of the box. Now, as I suspected, the back is set on 6 volts, so we want to take it up to 7.4. Now, the programming options that you've got here, you've got running mode, forward, brake and reverse, voltage cut off is at 3 volts. I might take that up to 3.2. Punch is actually set at 5 out of 9. Drag brake at 0, max brake force is 50, so I'm good with that. Max reverse force 25%, neutral range is 9, that's good. Your timing, I'll probably leave that. And the LiPo cells. So what I'm going to do is probably just change my cut-off voltage to 3.2 and obviously turn the back up to 7.4. Quite easy to do. So all you need to do is just remove the fan wire from the ESC, plug in a program card. This is just a LCD program card, as you can see. Turn it on. It will then give you programming options. So we are looking for a second. Excuse the fan. We are looking for option number 2. Item number 2, I should say. So, and that's now set up option 4, which is, let's have a look, which is 3 volts. So we want to change that now to value of 5. And then we're going down to back voltage, which is number 10. 10, and then change that to value of 2. And then click OK. Turn the car off. Turn it back on again. As you can hear, the fan is now working at 7.4 volts, and that is really going to help in many ways. So now you should have faster steering, more powerful, as you can see. And obviously the fans are now going to be cooling that motor a lot better. I've changed the voltage. Everything is working as it should do. Turn the car back off again, connect it all back up and go from there. So right guys, what do you think? All installed, everything looking really neat, really nice. Got all my fans installed, the new ASC, everything's in nice neatly. New servo, AVC on the receiver, I've put the correct gearing in. It is looking absolutely pucker. The table is a complete mess, so I've got to tidy that up. Now, we programmed the ASC, turned the BEC voltage up as well, done all the wiring, made it all neat and tidy. Yeah, I love this car, absolutely love it. Right, okay, let's go up top. Welcome back, guys. Okay, so what do you think? The SSTE has got some really tasty upgrades in there. Very happy with the way it's actually turned out as well. Really, really nice. I need to tidy up the table now because the time is getting on. I'm going to do a running video of this over the weekend, fingers crossed at some point. I'm working tomorrow night, but it is what it is. Massive shout out to Andrew Rusty Casey for hooking me up with the motor. There's more than enough power in there now. I'm going to try it on 4S. I've geared it down, so obviously I put a fan on there. I'm going to monitor temperatures, see how the car feels, run it on 4S, then run it on 6S, and then maybe gear up from there further, but I'm not sure yet. There seems plenty of power in there, wheel speed wise. Off camera I've checked it out and the wheels are ballooning loads. So I don't know, I'm going to see how it feels. Guys, the ESC, very, very nice little upgrade for anyone looking to get a little, squeeze a little bit more power out of their vehicle. It's not a lot. I will put a link in the description to where you can pick one up. And don't be afraid to wrench on your vehicles, guys. Honestly, I absolutely adore this side of it. It's downtime. This is class for me. And this is what the hobby's all about as well, guys. You know, fix, repair, bash your vehicle, that sort of thing. Right, everything that we've added into it, it should be absolutely awesome now, and I'm really, really looking forward to running this vehicle. I want to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you for obviously watching all the videos, all the likes, shares and subscribes. It really does mean the world to me. I feel really, really humbled by it all. Make sure you check the box for more videos, and until next time, guys, you stay awesome. Catch you later.